And we're live. Fuck it, we're gonna do it live. Hey, well, today, me and Janet usually do a Girl Guy in a Movie on Sundays. Usually that happens. And today that's not because Janet is lost somewhere in Texas at a barbecue restaurant with family, staying away from gluten as much as she can. And those of us that are not Janet, are here inside a comfortable studio or room, as what we used to call it. And we watched some film today that, well, today's show's Two Guys in a Movie, and with me I have Six Nations, 31 Kings.
What up, world champions?
We watched a fun film today, and this movie is from 1933, and it's called Mystery
Pre-code.
of the...
It's a pre-code film.
Yeah. Okay, when they did the remaster of this movie, I didn't know this. I mean, I didn't know anything about this film, but this is a movie that was hidden for years in a guy's personal collection in 1970. They dug it out, and they started doing prints of it, and it didn't really have the right look because it was filmed in 2-color. But Lucasfilm got a hold of it a couple decades ago, and they've altered it to get it back to a more original looking print. This is a 1933 film. It's almost a fucking century old. And you got Lionel Atwill, Fay Wray, Glenda Farrell, Frank McHugh, Alan Vincent, bunch of really talented individuals here that made a movie for $250,000 at the time. And it was not one of these films that you see by itself. It was kind of a B film. You see it as a twofer. They would have like a, what do you call those? Double features, 2-for-1 special. And this is a freaking great movie. This character right here, Lionel Atwill, he's a wax artist at the start of the film, which is back in the 1920s. And he's not making a whole lot of money, but his partner comes in like, we're gonna get things back. We're gonna get the money back, and I have a plan. I'm going to show you. Fire insurance. We're just gonna have a fire, and it kind of burns the guy because he's just been recommended that his wax work is going to be put in the Royal. What was it? The Royal History Museum.
Something like that, yeah. British equivalent of the History Museum. And his partner wants to burn down the joint so he can get 10,000 pounds, which I guess in 1921 was a shit ton of money.
Yes. Yeah, this
doesn't sound like much now, but
guy right here, and here's the main character, very distinguished looking, loving the overcoat robe, by the way.
Very swank.
Very. And there's a gigantic fire. The first 10, 15 minutes of this movie absolutely speaks to me because the pacing is really good. They show you the characters. They give you the motivations. Everything that you want the initial Act 1 to be perfect. And it culminates with the destruction of his workshop. And I thought this was really well done.
Yeah, I was impressed. Like, I saw the black and white version way back in the day, and I liked it, and it was great. And then watching it in the two-tone color version, like, wow. How's it going, Hungar? TCG?
Yeah, of course, he comes into one day, I'm not wearing a Hungar shirt. Crafting Gamer, how's it going, sir? But you have this great looking set, and they kind of go with an Art Deco look to it, which I didn't recognize it as that at first. I just thought it was just a gigantic stage, and so the Art Deco, after I get my head wrapped around that. Like I'm looking at it, and this movie production is at a high.
Yeah, it's
It
Art Deco, modernist.
they say
The
this
opening of
movie.
the film is
uh,
kind of a gothic horror type of thing because they're rolling up in that horse-drawn carriage. It's raining, and it
and
looked good.
it looks fantastic, and you're seeing these guys discuss things. The only thing I'm knocking the movie on is that the characters speak very fast. At the time, this is New York City where they film it, I believe, and everyone there speaks fast. And so the characters don't differentiate themselves except by from their motivations initially. And so you have to get used to the voices. You have to catch it quick. But they really do a fine job of getting the motivations and the plot down. There's of course this young thing. This is Glenda Farrell, a person I was not aware existed until today, and she plays a bright young lady in this movie, kind
Yeah,
of
she's got a
motivated.
history of doing like the Gun Mall or the intrepid reporter, fast talking, wisecracking reporter. She's the person that created the type, not just the character, but the type that we see emulated later on in films. This woman here, primo.
Yeah, she's in a bunch of these films playing the same character. Um, Destined for typecasting as the hard-boiled gangster moles, showgirls, and gold diggers. And she does the resourceful girl reporter Torchy Blaine. There's 9 of these films with this character in it in a span of 3 years, and she does the majority of them. I think 6 is what Hardwick
6 or
said.
7 of them, I think it was.
Yeah, because they tried to recast it a couple times, but she really gives you this typeset, fast talking, very motivated little girl boss reporter, and she's great at it. First movie in that series would be Smart Blonde, I might say. The character she plays in this film in 1933 kind of sets the pace for it because they see her in this and they said, we're going to have you do this character over again and again. It'll be a series. And in these movies, she plays. In this movie here, she's like the one of the lead actresses. She does a fantastic job of just being a individual supporting cast. But in the Torchy Blaine series, she rises to the level of star. And watching her in this movie is fun and fantastic. Now, for those of you that are fans of cinema, you'll recognize her. Yep, she was in the monkey's grip as he went up the Empire State Building. It's Miss Fay Ray herself. She passed in 2004. That was a sad day for me. I probably watched the original King Kong in excess of 20 times because we had it on Betamax. We copied it off the broadcast channel. That's a very short movie. We'll have to do that probably in 2027. But that's one of my all-time favorite movies because of just how they do the special effects, how the miniature works. Everything in that movie is top tier, and it's really watchable today. If you've got kids or grandkids, put them in front of King Kong, and they'll love it. They'll fall in love with Fay Ray. Do we mention anything about Alan Vincent? Did you catch anything special about his character?
Alan Vincent. No, I'm not too versed on Alan Vincent.
Neither am I. And in this movie, he seems like he's pretty competent, pretty good. But
Yeah,
he's an employee of Igor, I believe that's the main guy's name in this movie.
Ivan Igor.
Yeah. It's really not a good name.
And Alan
This is
Vincent
his.
plays Ralph Burton, and he's kind of like the Playboy son.
I love this scene when he first meets her because he's just kind of awestruck. He sees her standing outside his door of his workshop, and he's just kind of awestruck. Um, in my dad's culture, uh, we call that being hit by the thunderbolt.
Mm. Yeah, the opening scene where he ends up losing his waxworks due to arson. Uh, Fay Ray basically is the embodiment of Marie Antoinette, and so he sees his his pride and joy, his crowning achievement of his wax sculptures in the living flesh right in front of his eyes. So he's awestruck with her. She's the roommate of Glenda's character.
She really loves her boyfriend.
So
I,
Florence and Charlotte are the two girls. Florence being Glenda, Fay Ray being Charlotte Duncan. She's the love interest of Alan Vincent's Ralph Burton.
I really, I really like their characters. Uh, the girls, after about the first half hour, you can see a definite split between the two of them. This young lady's very money motivated, and she chides her friend like, "Oh, that's great. You have love. You don't have real good money coming in. That's cute. Can't wait to see you explain that to the landlord. My husband, he's a sweetheart, but we don't have no money for you." Oh, that was kind of bitchy,
And it's
but
kind of funny. The subplot with her is she's about to get canned if she doesn't get a good story. It's New Year's Eve, and her editor is just like either consider yourself fired or get a story. I don't know. I don't care how. Just do it. And so she goes barging into the police station and starts hitting up the police. Okay, what do you got on the books? Let's do some shopping.
I really, I, I thought this was so well developed. The pacing on this is fast. There's a lot of remakes of this movie. There's one we
Mm-hmm.
watched before called Waxworks, which is a great film. I like that movie a lot. This movie, I don't feel is as superior to Waxworks because Waxworks kind of takes its time a little bit. It does not have pacing issues. Waxworks takes its time and you get to know the characters, and then you get to see all the scenes where things fall apart in, and that makes for a very fun film. There's another movie made in the 50s with Vincent Price, which I had seen before. I believe that's House of Wax, correct?
Uh,
Something like that.
Horrors of the Wax Museum, I think it was.
Yes, Horrors of the Wax Museum. And that movie should be a superior film. But to me, that movie had pacing issues really bad in the first and second act. The third
I think
act,
it was that drama aspect of it. Like
uh,
drama tends to be slow,
it was
so they
hard to
got the slow burn.
digest. I love the old police uniforms, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Just
there's
that
something about the '30s era that was like, men were dapper, and it's cool to see the old technology that they used because like that was state of the art back then. that room full of editors, and they got a bajillion guys on typewriters just chain smoking cigarettes and typing away, and all the cacophony of the machines going off all at once. Like now we got freaking laser printers and Xerox machines going off. Like it was a different time, and your head had to be in a different space to deal with that. I guess the closest thing would be like call center work with phones going off the hook.
I love a lot of the stuff that you're seeing here. Here's the Marie Antoinette wax figure. Now, mind you, this is just Fay Ray dolled up, looking like a wax figure. She's a lot of the wax figures in the work in this movie are just actors and actresses being very still.
Yeah, something about the overhead lights actually melting wax figures. So they're like, okay, scrub this. We're gonna do live actors. Don't move.
Yeah. Unnamed actress posing. Lionel Atwill. No relation to Haley Atwell. Different spelling. After the fire, he's in a wheelchair, or he appears to be in a wheelchair. I showed a still earlier about 2 minutes ago of a guy with a covering over his face. That would be him. Just freaky, real freaky. I love the fire effects with the wax figures.
That whole fire scene was
Yeah,
epic.
it was. I think like
I'm looking at the size of the flames and I'm thinking, Christ, one screw up, and it's like a single take, and lots of lives can be lost in the blink of an eye. It was super impressive. Back in an era where they would like literally work you to death.
I mean, we talked with our friend Hardwick for a little bit about the movie and the background of the film. I was unaware of the code that had to happen. That was something written in the 30s and didn't really get implemented well till 34. But it's like a morality code, and a lot of other forms of media had a similar thing. Comics had it.
Production code, or the Hays Code in this case. Is what
morality, you have to be moral. Can't have drinking to excess. Can't have the birth of a child either hidden on screen or in plain view. Can't do nudity, stuff like that. And it was very puritanical. It's a neat idea, and even with the code, you have some really great movies that come out in the 30s during the time when it's being implemented. And it kind of forced you as a casting director and as a director of cinematography, you have to kind of work around it, and so it made you be inventive. I absolutely thought that it would be a hindrance, but thinking about it more, especially when you have great classics like The Wizard of Oz, middle of next year, kids will review Wizard of Oz, and then the week after that we do Return to Oz, because you haven't been scared enough. Look at the fucking emoting on this. If here she looks like she's got heterochroma. I know she doesn't, but Fay Ray, just perfect scream queen. She hated being known for that. She left America because that was all she was being cast as. And whenever she gets to the UK, first thing they make her do is have her scream.
Fuck my life moment.
A serious FML. Just in this movie.
God, these stills make it look even more creepy. Like, ugh. Like it was beautifully shot, and only having two colors, basically. it came out really awesome. There's some scenes that I noticed that just the normal day-to-day attire was really nice, and then you get these weird modernistic angles with the lighting and everything, and it's an interesting transition because I guess they were trying to move on from the gothic horror to something that was decidedly modern.
I I gotta say that even though this movie is only like what, an hour and 10 minutes long, it felt like it was faster than that. And I was very surprised at the level of love that the crew and cast gave it. But they honestly seemed to love being in this movie because you could tell that they enjoyed their parts. Even with all the fast talking shtick that is so common in 1933, 1930 movie, you have that. It's so well done. Costuming was good. By the way, this movie cost $250,000 to make. They made $1 million off of it. From what I understand, it was not a movie that was sold by itself. You went to see this movie, and it was the second movie you saw on your double feature.
So technically, the production quality would be lower. It was cheaper to make.
But I didn't really see a drop in production quality. I thought it was kind of weird, some of the settings, some of the sets. But when you think about it from the Art Deco standpoint, I love Art Deco, by the way, and maybe that's because of games like BioShock, the series BioShock. I think that's like one of the most beautiful arts ever created. It's not really a game; it's art.
Early Fallout.
Early Fallout, yeah, like 1 and 2. Oh,
yeah.
I
and look at that. That's awesome. Just you don't see that in modern movies. It's always some sort of CGI, big production. Like this was only a couple of decades from, or not even a couple of decades, like a decade and a half of the silent era. Really, like 2 decades, maybe
7 years.
Let's say
7 years.
Yeah.
Who is that guy? Emmett O'Connor. Robert Emmett O'Connor. I loved his work as a police officer in this film. I thought everything about this movie was very well done. I was surprised at how quick it felt when we looked at the time afterwards after we watched it. I thought, wow. Now, mind you, we also sat with our friend Hardwick for the history lesson afterwards. There's a lot.
Yeah, that was epic. I enjoyed that conversation.
I did too. If you want to join those conversations with us on Sundays, join up with Janet's Discord. We'll be happy to have you. This just another unnamed actor playing a wax figure.
The poor judge.
Say again?
As Voltaire. The poor judge is Voltaire.
Okay.
That was the missing judge. The junkie had the pocket watch of the judge, and they were looking for clues. Where's this missing judge? And it turns out that he's sitting there as Voltaire in the wax museum. Spoiler.
The movie's been out since 33. Get with the program. Come on, kids. Great movie. You can easily find this on the web. I just did a couple Bing searches for the video of it, and they were starting to pop up.
That's the shirt that I was talking
this
about.
One right here?
Like when she was a gas, and she leans back, and you get to see the shirt, and for some reason it was just super vivid in that one scene. For like rudimentary color film, two-tone, I was amazed at the quality of the film. Like a lot of stuff stuck out.
It does.
Here we're all into like 4K and 8K high definition specific audio setup. Like this was two-tone, color film in its infancy, and this was also before the trend of music being a part of the film, like character wise. You know how you get into the action sequence and they start playing the specific theme music of maybe the hero, or it just punctuates the scene. There wasn't really much of a soundtrack in this, except for the
Yeah, that's
beginning,
about it.
and it was all just stage presence and visuals. It was epic.
I thought this movie, I I kind of kick myself because I don't watch a lot of older. When I say older, I say like 1920s, 1930s films. I should. These are fun. These are actually a lot of fun to watch. Now, granted, hold on, you younger fuckers, you just got offended by me saying fucker. Um, you're gonna hear shit in this movie that's gonna cause you to like have like issues. All right. Now, no more. I didn't hear any N-word drops. I didn't hear any F bombs. I didn't hear any like assaults on like, decency as that. But you're gonna hear the slang like broad, okay? You're gonna hear bags. You're gonna hear stuff like that. And if you're sensitive, just stay in your padded cell and don't venture out beyond the year of 2016. For those of you that didn't mind anything I said there, and you can handle a couple of things which might have racist, sexist, bigoted undertones, things like this,
Is and isms.
yeah, you if you could handle the occasional pejorative, go for it because you're going to see a movie that it's not a conventional film like they'd have today. They'd never make this today, never. But they would try to imitate it with a pale copy that has no capacity for you to ever want to see it twice. This movie I want to see 3 or 4 times in the next couple of years because it's actually really fun to watch. I really like Lionel Atwill. He yes, he's the antagonist, but he does such a good job of being the antagonist. It's amazing.
He
Yeah.
sells it. And this is like the third movie that he was in with
Anyway,
Fay Ray. There was Doctor
yeah.
X.
He's in a movie.
There was the Dangerous Game, or the Most
Yep.
Dangerous Game, and then there was this.
Mind you, this director that we have here, Michael Curtis, he's not exactly everybody's favorite person because he will work you 16 hours a day, 7 days a week until the fucking movie's done. But he made good films. He made films that you could watch again and again. Is he a nice guy? No. Is he a slave driver that makes a product? Yes. This is a movie that was made, I think, a year before 1932. Yep. And Fay Ray did not really enjoy working with him, but she did it because it was a paycheck. And they fucking do it.
This is when they were pumping out movies. It was all about quantity over quality, even though the A-list movies were of quality. You know, the studios were like, we need to make
Yeah.
money. We make money by making movies. Work harder, work faster.
And Glenda Farrell, just to give you guys one more piece of information, her character type that she basically stamped and sold and redid and revisited so many times, she was Schuster's image in his head for what Lois Lane should be when they were making a Superman comic. Lois Lane did not get really Lois Laney until like the mid to late 30s. And they were watching her films the whole time going, that's her. That's our Lois. And I thought that was cool. Mystery of the Wax Museum. God, look at these posters, man. That's beautiful. I think I would actually have that hanging in here.
Yeah, I was thinking like the local head shop of my hometown. Like you would find this stuff all in the poster section.
Monica Bannister.
Not just the hipster trend. This stuff actually looks really nice.
It does. Match the tingles of your patrons with the jingle of their coins by using this high-powered campaign. Little advert for the theater owner. A thrill on every poster. Yeah, he was a missing judge. A lot of missing people in this town. A lot of good wax museum stuff too.
It reminds me of my trip to San Francisco, Pier 39, with the wax museum there.
We had a good wax museum downtown San Antonio, and they got rid of it a few years ago because they wanted to redo and revitalize the downtown. So they got rid of the arcade. And the arcade was kind of cool. You had a wax museum. You had Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, which was fucking excellent.
Yeah, I
And
messed up.
the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum was kind of weird because like there's a final portion. You had to sign basically a waiver to go in there because you're climbing up a ladder, like a handyman ladder that you see on the back of an F-150. You have to climb up into the attic on this ladder and follow around this little trail in this hoarder's like stowage area. But there's more stuff up there they had, and then you had to drop through a window down to get to the other portion. It was kind of a weird setup. I like that Ripley's Believe It or Not. I went there in 2014. I had fun at the arcade that day. And then I got my face photoshopped onto Scarface and Al Pacino in front of the cocaine, and then that poster became lost, and that sucked. They don't make films like this though, and the way they did it, I was kind of in awe because they really knocked it out of the park. Uh, Waxworks. Last week we watched that Lost Boys movie, and while I rated that movie like a solid middle 80s, which I think that movie deserves, I still like Near Dark better, which I'm going to change the score of that to 90. I don't think I don't think Near Dark is perfect by any means, but I think that it's a more superior vampire film. And Wax Museum or Mystery of the Wax Museum is a film that I think, for me, it scores a 75 because it was really just kind of a new thing, and they stepped into the dark right in the script and getting into production and making this fantastic piece of film footage. But I think if you like cinema, watch this. This is definitely a must watch. You're probably not going to watch it twice or three times, but it's at least worthwhile of at least a once over viewing. The 80s film Waxworks, I think, actually works a little bit better for the fact that they have it's kind of out there, but the characterization, they go a little further on the characterization of the characters in the film, and I'm going to say that's probably an 81. But they're both really good films if you love wax movies. Good God.
Yeah, I was saying, like, if you want to see the trifecta of the evolution of wax films until you get to Waxworks, obviously watch this. This is the original. Then Horror at the Wax Museum with Vincent Price.
Hmm.
Love his work. Love the movie. But this one edges a little bit higher. And then to see the extreme low budget version, Bucket of Blood, Roger Corman film.
I haven't seen that one yet. I will.
So, down on his luck, slob uh, decides to plaster up a dead cat, and show it off at this art exhibition at a beatnik bar. And they tout him as the artist that they're looking for. So, in order for him to gain the recognition that he craves and the notoriety, he has to commit these murders and use the bodies as his artwork. And so that's the far side of absurdism of this whole wax museum and corpses theme going on in these movies. This being the superior film, Vincent Price version, still a great film, but not as good. And then the Roger Corman to see the humor, the dark humor of it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then Waxwork with its uh, like special effects and mysticism and kind of an homage to the horror genre of various styles and whatnot with the wax pieces.
You could actually watch Waxworks 1 and 2, and then the two Creep Show films back to back in a four movie like holiday because of just how the characters are set up in all of the Waxwork films, and then the way the Creep Shows are set up with their anthology stories. I think that'd be a fun day.
Mm. Our conversation earlier about amazing stories. I gotta go through that again now.
You know, if you're not aware, Steven Spielberg has not always been a film director. In the 80s, computer generated technology was coming to us. And there's two movies that we got to thank for that. One is Tron, the other is The Last Starfighter. And those two films did a great job of making it to where we had another avenue to make special effects for films. And Steven Spielberg had an idea to do an anthology television series where you would have a bunch of individual stories that would start and finish at the credits. And every show would be literally different. You wouldn't have the same characters, you wouldn't have the same actors. It was going to be something special. And then to start off Amazing Stories, you had this real interesting CGI festival for its time. And I remember watching the Amazing Stories, especially the first season, that had some real bangers in it, like the B-52 that got some shrapnel from an enemy. I want to say it was a Zero, and they were having a hard time getting the belly gunner turret guy. The turret wasn't pivoting right, so he could climb out and join his mates. And he
Basically,
had
stuck the belly gunner.
yeah, the
Position.
belly gunner was stuck there in the turret, and he's looking at the fucking landing gear, which is just shredded to hell, just gone. And the entire show, like that entire episode, was showcasing the best that CGI had at the time, which is kind of like Temu Disney today. But back then, Disney would have been happy to have that in one of their features or on one of their television shows, Amazing World of Disney. And for a half hour, you're watching them get close to their landing point, and they got to land. They're running out of fuel. We're not going to kill all 9 of us on this thing. If anybody dies, it's Belly Turret Boy. And he decides to draw. One of his mates has already like turned his back, and he was going to kill him. He was going to just stab him through the little feed hole through the turret and just stab him in the neck and let him bleed out, and he'll be fine. He'll die, and then we can just crash the plane and get everybody else off safely. But he doesn't do that, and so this guy tells him, "Go get my tablet and get my pens." And so he starts drawing the fucking bomber they're in. It might not even be a B-52. It might be a B-29. But he draws it with these gaudy, funky, huge, cartoonesque tires that will keep everybody from the ground for like 6 or 7 feet, not the specs that it should be like 3 feet or 4 feet off the ground. And it's so cute because he has so much belief in his artistry that literally as it's coming in for its crash landing, all of a sudden the landing gear drops, and it's obviously CGI. It's animated CGI, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, he did it!" And there's a bunch of fun stories about World War II things like Foo Fighters and gremlins on planes and chewing cables and all that. But this movie fits right in with the cryptid stories that Bear would bemoan or Raven would love to talk about more. But this episode was so fucking cool because the B-52 lands safe, or the bomber lands safely, and everybody gets out, and the belly gunner guy gets out, and the pilot of the bomber goes up to the tire. And he tries to put his hand on it, and it spurts tire juice on him. For lack of a better term, he's got like his hand is now glowing the same color as a tire. And it's a neonish orange. It's so cool. And so everybody kind of gets away, and like the belly gunner's wife is there, and she was not expecting to see him live because she heard there was a problem. And here he is walking away. He's got a tablet with him, and he's got his pens, and she gives him a big hug. And as everybody finally is getting rid of their adrenaline, the dump has happened, and now they're going to get weary. They turn back and they just watch the bomber go crash, and it destroys the belly turret, and everyone is out safely. And the pilot and the lieutenant are like, well, I guess he's going to go work for Disney after this is done, isn't he? Yeah. It's a very good story, but they had stories like this week after week after week for 3 seasons, mid-'80s. And Amazing Stories is worth watching. Another show that if you are looking for some reason, why are Gen X people so fucked up? Why are the boomers and doomers so fucked up? We had shows like this, which were really fun. And I think that kind of leads into the fact that Spielberg was a fan of movies like this that fired off your imagination. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of gory deaths in this show, unless you are watching the wax figures fade and deform under fire and hot lights. That ties into Indiana Jones a little bit, and I think that's one of the main reasons why we have the wonderful scene in Indiana Jones where Belloc just goos, and what's the little Japanese guy? He turns into goo as well. I thought that was so fucking cool when the Ark was opened up and everything starts to go shitty for the Nazis. By the way, Indiana Jones doesn't even need to be there for that movie to go from start to finish. Anyway, good movie. Indiana Jones is not needed.
Definitely.
But given an easy 75, and this is a movie. Yeah, you could watch this movie as part of a trilogy of films. Horrors of the Wax Museum being second. I wouldn't go with House of Blood because I've not seen it yet. I would go with Waxworks
Buckets
because
of Blood. Yeah, Waxworks was good. I was just thinking, like, if you're gonna go
all
before
wax.
Waxworks,
Yeah.
And you want to hit the theme,
Yes.
kind of like hitting all the Mad Max films before you
Hey, lady.
you go to whatchamacallit, what was it, Furiosa or something like that. Just like watch the originals, get a feel for it, catch the vibe, then watch the new stuff. But yeah, this movie I would say easily 75. It got like what 70%, almost 71% on IMDb, which is pretty high for aggregate rating. Normally, films like this don't get that high of a rating, but this was a solid film. Excellent acting. It was good writing. There's a little bit of a cultural shift with the fast, rapid talking, but
if you can get around the rapid talking, I think you're fine.
And then catching some of the slang, like once you start watching these movies from the 30s, you start picking up on the lingo and you appreciate it more.
So next month is October. On the 5th of October, we're watching Meet Joe Black. We're going to review that. Never seen it before. I heard it's a treat.
I saw it once a long time ago, and I kind of liked it. The premise of the film is interesting.
American Werewolf in London is a 12th.
That's a classic.
We're probably going to do kind of like a discussion of two movies on that. As much as I like the original Lon Chaney werewolf film, I think I want to discuss American Werewolf in the Howling. So I'm probably going to watch the Howling before that. And
Oh yeah, that's
Kate
always
Janet
the good
into it.
toss-up between the special effects.
Yeah, because
Both
those
are
two
great.
movies came out within like a month of each other in 81.
Hmm.
And you have protege mentor situation in Star Wars where Rick Baker has got Rob Bottin and they're doing stuff together. They're making masks, they're doing practical effects, they're doing all this stuff. It's fun. But then Rick Baker gets pulled by Joe Dante to help, or gets pulled by John Landis for American Werewolf in London, which probably to the 2025 timeline that we are on, I haven't seen a better metamorphosis scene in a movie yet for human to werewolf and werewolf and back. That movie is still my top. But you have Rick or Rob Bottin, which he gets yoinked by Joe Dante, one of my favorite directors to watch. And I just saw the RLM shows where they show their favorite Joe Dante movies. And Dante is a really good. There's two types of directors out there for the most part. You have indie directors that they just want to make their own films. They'll be small press guys. They'll do the stuff to do their feature work, but then they bargain and they barter to get their own work so they can do their passion projects. And Joe Dante is that guy. John Landis didn't really have to beg or plead for shit. Uh, he's in that same tier as Steven Spielberg, even though Spielberg has obviously surpassed many other directors at modern day. Uh, John Landis had an unfortunate event in 1983 with the Twilight Zone scene, and we'll talk about that one of these days. We'll review that movie because I want to review that film, but and because I have things to say about it. But Joe Dante pulls Rick Bottin or Rob Bottin to work with him for The Howling, and it's really good what The Howling does because The Howling doesn't have the budget that American Werewolf has, but they still do they still manage to do a great story and great special effects. Not the top special effects, but really good for what it is. And you've got a lot of good actors that are part of the Howling movie that are fantastic. Now we won't talk about part 2, 3, or 4 or 5. I would like to at some point. I think Janet and I's discussion is not suited for that. But at some point, I do want to review 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I want to review those movies because they are part of American schlock film that I do enjoy, and I wish I
They're
didn't
fun.
say.
They're not uh, uh, highbrow
No,
cinema, but they're there and they're entertaining, and
yeah,
you'll find enjoyment out of it. Some of the premises are just ridiculous.
very
The
much.
marsupials of what was it, Howling 3, I think it was.
Yes, where they have the pouches.
Yeah, like that was innovative.
Yeah,
Ridiculous, but it was innovative.
yeah. I'd love to talk about it. If you're able to, one of these days, we'll do that. Um,
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
just a few more stills here, and this lady, this is Monica Bannister, and she's not as big of an actress as what she probably deserved to be, but she was fun. From what I've read about, she was a fun actress to work with. She lived all the way up till 2002. She plays one of the missing individuals in this movie.
These
I'm
ladies
just
were
going through her.
gorgeous. My God.
Yeah, look at that. No penis. And I'm not even a big fan of the flapper look. I like my women to have substance, curves. She does a she does a good job in this movie, just as a wax caricature. These people in this film treated this movie with respect, and that's something that I feel it really it really spoke to me in that aspect. They didn't have a lot of money. They made it on $250,000. The movie back when they were selling tickets for double features, a nickel, a nickel. It made a
That would be the
one point
equivalent
one.
of the $5 matinee
Yeah,
when I was a kid.
there was. I think the cheapest I saw movie tickets. I saw a $5 matinee when I was 8, and
I
everybody
take
I
that
knew.
back. What was it? When did Minority Report come out? Like 2003,
2002.
something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like 250 at an Oregon theater. We went to go visit some friends
Oh
up
shit! I
there.
forgot.
Saw it for like
In
$3.
in Corpus Christi, Texas, we did have a dollar cinemas. We had the second run dollar cinema, and so like I went and saw in one night Captain America and 2012 Conan the Barbarian. Hey Janet, how you doing, hon? We saw these movies for $1 each because it was the Corpus Christi Dollar Cinemas for Cinemark, and they've closed. It was closed down, of course. We've got a fiat currency now that barely holds up. You don't
Yeah,
have the ability
cinemas.
to see.
They paid so much in getting a copy of the film that like they would have to spend hundreds of dollars in concessions just to keep the doors open that day. Ridiculously high.
It's crazy.
So to see a
And
cinema do a dollar movie, like that's great, but not for the long term. And that's a sad thing. They start drying up like the drive-ins. That's another cinema experience that I wish everybody could enjoy.
I I don't know what to tell you guys. Like we're living in clown world. Nobody's put the brakes on yet. Lady's like, we had 99-cent theaters. I'm like, but I wouldn't give for that. Like $1 chicken nuggets, guys. We lost that shit. Walmart closes at 10 o'clock now. What the fuck? Granted, you have people that go in and they do flash mob robberies.
We might have to work around the copyright. You know, have a one-time dollar club fee to come hang out at some dude's house, and then you do your concessions and stuff, and then you throw on a random DVD of a movie and entertain your guests.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that we could bring back the cheap movie night. It's $30 a pop.
There's some places, there's some cities where they bring out a projector and a screen in their parks, and you bring your kids there, and you watch like a kids movie, Disney film, or some old like 1940s, 50s cartoon, like Lulu or something. And yeah, you people that are on the dollar budget, little Lulu cartoons. Yeah. Okay. So, like, there's Woody Woodpecker cartoons, there's Bugs Bunny cartoons, then down here there's Little Lulu. It's in that same cinematic flair as Baby Geniuses.
Yeah.
But This movie, like they some places they do that. They have public theater where you go watch like an old, like copyrights completely rubbed off. It doesn't matter anymore. You see these movies in the background of every major film because there's no protection for it anymore. Kind of like Winnie the Pooh.
Well,
We're watching Pooh, Blood and Honey.
there's the cool thing about the movie that we just watched. I think it's still in the public
It
domain,
is.
right? So you can go to like Internet Archive or just use your Google foo on the interwebs and come across these movies, maybe for the first time, maybe for the 5,000th time, and enjoy a piece of cinema history and of quality work.
Yeah.
And I never gave my rating, but yeah, I agree easily. This is a 75 out of 100. It's entertaining. It's beautiful. And when you start to do some research on the actors and actresses, and then, like for me, seeing these older movies like Little Caesar and whatnot, like you just want to watch more. Like there's something about this era that made it really appealing to watch. And normally, I'm not a big fan of old timey films, especially musicals. But like, get your toes wet, get out of your comfort zone, check this stuff out. At worst, you've wasted an hour or 2 hours of your life, and you go, okay, never again. Or you pick up something on it and you appreciate it, and it'll lead you down a path of good entertainment, good conversation, and like with Hardwick, we ended up getting a really awesome history lesson and got to talk about a bunch of different movies and actors and actresses, and it was cool. It also crossed over to comics, so like you got cross genre stuff going on. This is one of those mediums that you can branch off into millions of rabbit holes, and it's well worth the time and effort.
So next week, when we'll listen to me, Janet, maybe someone else as well, discuss a film from the early 2000s, or actually late 90s. Meet Joe Black will be next week. And then the 12th is American Werewolf in London. Six Nations, do you have anything else to discuss?
No, I think I've covered everything I wanted to say. Get out there, watch some movies, go have some conversations, enjoy the time that you got with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Might even come across some total strangers and share a hobby.
Yeah. You guys go out there, rub shoulders with people. Get out of your comfort zone for a little bit. You might find something you really enjoy. My name's Bruce. With me today is Six Nation 31 Kings, and I appreciate his company on this. Lady says it was just one. They made it a full dollar so people stopped flicking pennies at the screen. God. People are animals. Janet will be back next week from her barbecue extravaganza in Texas. She'll discuss with us what exactly type of barbecue she likes best.
Yeah, I was tempted to. She had posted that short about being in Plano, and
yeah,
I was going to say have some funnel cake for me, but I forgot.
Yeah, she's not in Plano. She's in El Paso. El Paso. Oh. If you want to go see Janet, she's in El Paso right now. Probably not at a Bill Miller's, but we'll talk to you guys later. Y'all be well. Come back next week. We'll discuss a Brad Pitt movie.
It'll be epic.